Hey everybody, back at you again at the movies with Film Brown here. Might be best to put on a hat like this for a film like this because the film that we're talking about is one of those great B film noir works. Detour, 1945, a PRC film, one of those small budget studios. The film is directed by a very interesting man, Edgar Ulmer. Now, Edgar Ulmer comes out of the German tradition. He worked in the Max Reinhardt Theater, worked with Murnau, set director on Last Laugh, things like that. Came over to the United States and was scheduled for a great career. Matter of fact, directed one of my favorite Universal horror films made in that time period from Dracula on up through The Mummy and the Murders of the Rue Morgue. But he directed Black Cat. Black Cat, one of the more sadistic and twisted films to come out of that stable of people in that time period in the Universal tradition of that first spate of horror films. Now, Ulmer, yeah, he was scheduled to probably go on to greater things. Now, I'm not saying that Detour is not a great film. It is. But he struck up an affair with his script supervisor, Shirley Alexander. And as it so happened, her husband was Max Alexander. And Max Alexander was one of the great producers. Actually was the nephew of Carl Laemmle. Now, this doesn't go over well. As a matter of fact, Shirley would divorce Alexander and marry Edgar Ulmer. This basically blackballed Edgar Ulmer from working at Universal and from doing any major productions from then on. He went on and did a lot of Yiddish theater, directing Yiddish language films. He also went on to smaller studios and worked periodically. He did The Daughter of Dr. Jekyll. He did Bluebeard. He did The Man from Planet X. He did The Amazing Transparent Man. Okay, so he wasn't not working. And interestingly, Shirley Ulmer, as she would become, would be the script supervisor throughout all of his films. And she herself was somewhat of a prolific writer for other things. The film we're watching tonight, Detour, has two interesting stars, Tom Neal and Ann Savage. Ann Savage first. Ann Savage has that great quality that you need in a femme fatale. That she can look incredibly beautiful in one instant and the next look is rough as all get out. That first instance that you see her when Tom Neal picks her up off the street, she's hitchhiking. She looks very rough and, well, as she progresses, becomes more attractive, sort of this oscillation back and forth, which is really the quality of the femme fatale. You're attracted to the flame like a moth, and it's very destructive and very ugly, but very beautiful at the same time. She has that quality in this film. Now, Tom Neal, he plays a hapless guy who just down on his luck, who just luck never seems to go his way, not know how. And Tom Neal himself had a bit of a checkered past. Got into a big fight with Franchot Tone, roughed him up pretty good, broke him up pretty good. Franchot Tone ended up in the hospital. It was a fight over a woman, and Tom Neal was sort of blackballed from working quite a bit. He did some small stuff. He became a gardener. 1965, shot his wife in the head, did 10 years in jail. So Tom Neal, kind of a hapless guy no matter how you look at it. The film was the camera work for this film was done by Benjamin Klein. Did one of our favorite films, if you remember, Giant Clock. Ben Klein did did this as well. It's interesting, I talk about that Universal connection and things like that. It'd be interesting for me, and a lot of us conjecture about this, what would have happened if Edgar Ulmer would have been allowed the free rein to work in major productions. Who and what would he have produced? Who would he have worked with? Would he have worked with, did the Wolfman? Because he did do some work with Siodmak. There's a lot of directors who sort of have a great potential and just sort of fall off the edge. Robert Florey is another one who comes to mind. The man who really was brainchild behind the Frankenstein 1931 film, kind of pulled out at the last moment and had Whale take over for him. But Florey, here's another one, like Ulmer. Now, Florey did work more in the A production level than Ulmer did, but who knows what Florey would have done. Well, that whole idea of what would have happened if. That's at the heart of Detour. What would have happened if? And even if one had made the right decision, made the right actions, would that have allowed you to escape from what fate has in store for you? Tom Neal, very fated individual. That sense of predestination, which is very much a heart of the German expressionist ethic, finds one of its great expressions here. Detour. It's the path not taken, and when you do take the wrong way, to maybe a shortcut, what happens to you? 1945, Detour. Have some fun, folks. Let's roll 'em, Smokey.